His story about corporate America is no way unique. He has been doing well for the last 20 years, and being a graduate of a fancy private school and a product of an Ivy League university. So it was no surprise that he ended up working as a senior executive, and his way to success was at steady pace. He was climbing up on the top of his career ladder, and thought that his way and the rocket ship to success would be unstoppable. But now he was standing in the corridor of his office building, holding this pink slip he was handed a couple of minutes ago by his boss. He asked him to come back into his office in 15 minutes to discuss all the details. His boss was sorry to break it to him. He said not to take it personal, because the times were hard and they had to make sacrifices. And his contract was terminated, and half of the department that he was running was would be laid off. And he had something to lose because he had 3 kids and a mortgage. And on the top of all that, it was his birthday that day, so you can imagine what he was feeling. And his services are no longer needed at this company, and he couldn't put up with this news, carrying a cardboard box with all his belongings and 20 years of his professional excellence and his pride. He didn't know what to do, and but at least he would get a severance package, and would be able to invest some money in stocks and take his family on vacation to Hawaii. Maybe sunshine and money would heal some wounds. He had worked for this company for 20 years, and he still remembered the day when he first came there. He was 26 years old when he got the job. That time he just got his degree, and sent out hundreds of CVs and had dozens of job interviews looking for a perfect job. Some of the employers were ready to hire him, but he wasn't sure if he should take their offers, so he kept searching for an appropriate position. And one day he saw that a job posting in a local business magazine, and he sent his CV and a cover letter. So he applied for the job, and a week later he got a call from their secretary. She invited him for a job interview. The job interview was short. He just answered some questions, told about his academic achievements and internships and general background. And just like that, at the end of the job interview, he was offered a job because he was the best candidate. Um, so he was promoted several times, and eventually rose to be the head of marketing and sales. He worked 24/7, and his typical day started at 7 a.m. He checked the emails and responded to the most urgent ones. Then he had a cup of coffee and headed straight to his office, where he worked 9 to 5. He returned the phone calls, scheduled the meetings, made the product presentations, and made marketing and sales proposals. In the evenings, he attended business meetings and corporate parties. And when he came home, he always had some work to do, even late at night, because they had offices in different time zones. And several times he was on the edge of exhaustion, sleep deprived, and overworked. Um, Apart from that, he managed a team of 150 people, half of whom were going to lose their job. Um, his parents were worried. His mom worked as a teacher, but she had to quit the job due to the health issues and the poor work-life balance. And she was afraid that that the same could happen to her son. His dad worked at a factory, and when he was young, he was involved in a labor union activity. Whenever the workers were unhappy, they would go on strikes to demand better working conditions. And his dad worked at the factory for the whole life and made a successful career. And now he lives in Miami. But unfortunately, he couldn't go on strikes because nobody cares how you deal with stress and burnout, and nobody takes pity on those who are tired. Um, at some point, he was almost ready to give 2 weeks notice when his boss yelled at him in front of the whole office for no specific reason. And but unfortunately, resigning was never an option, because that time his wife was on maternity leave, and he couldn't stop working and leave his family without any income. So he never thought that he will end up like this and getting dismissed from his job after all these years and everything that he had done for the company. But he was not going to stand still and feel sorry for himself. He couldn't put up with that and decided to go back and do something that he had always wanted to do. He was going to tell everything he thought to his boss about his authoritarian and incompetent management, because he never liked his boss, and his boss didn't like him either. But when he came back and stepped in, there was an explosion of confetti, and he saw his co-workers and his boss. They all yelled surprise, and there was a birthday banner over the table. He couldn't believe his eyes, so this situation turned into a birthday prank. His boss was laughing, but he couldn't say anything. He just turned and left the room. He had had enough and was going to quit this time for real.